Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today we're gonna learn about explanation text. Before I explain more detail about this text, the first, can you see about this picture? What is the name of these animals? Okay, good. This is about tadpoles. Can you explain how this animal work or why this animal happens? Can you explain? Okay, for the explanation, you can save it in your mind. And then I continue for the explanation of explanation text. So explanation text is the text that'll tell or explain how things work or why something happens. So explanation text is describe how certain phenomenon or event happens. It means that the verb in the mode of descriptions. That is the explanation of explanation text. And then after we know the explanation of this text, we continue to the text organizer. The text organizer of this text, the first is introduction, the second is explanation sequence, and then the last is concluding statement. For the introduction, write what is going to be explained. It means or it may include a description, questions, or a brief description. So introduction is still general when you try to write the explanation text. And then after we know the introduction, next we continue to explanation sequence. Explanation sequence usually use same word and the connectives to explain. And then, so for the explanation sequence of this, we have to explain of this explanation sequence. The first is how something works, and then the second is why something happens. For how something works, it means what it is used for and what each part does, how the part work together, and how to use it. And then for why something happened, it means how and why it started and what happened next after that and finally. That is the explanation of sequence. And then the concluding statement. Concluding statement include interesting comments about what you have explained. It means like a summary or a recommendation about what you have explained in the concluding statement. After you know about the generic structure of this text, next we continue to the language feature. The language feature of the explanation text, we have four language feature of this text. The first is noun phrase. Noun phrase, it means a noun that consists of more than one noun, but describe one form of the noun. So, an example of noun phrase is like school bake. School as a noun and then bake as a noun. So, noun phrase, we have more than one noun. Another example is like book of secret. Book as a noun and secret as a noun. So we have two noun. It means noun phrase. Remember, noun phrase that consists of more than one noun. It means we have two nouns or three nouns for nouns. Next, we continue to the action verb. Action verb, it means type of verb that describe the physically or mental action, like run, walk, see, eat, speak. That is the action verb. And then the third, we use the simple present tense. It means use the daily activity, or for the verb, we can use the verb want. Like eat, that is the verb one. And then write, that is verb one. And speak, verb one. And then the last is the passive voice. Passive voice type of sentences or clause in which the subject receives the action of the verb. Example, I write the story. That is the active voice. When we try to change into the passive voice, the first thing you must search which the subject and then which the object of the statement. Based on the sentence of I write the story, so I as the subject and then the story as the object. We can move the story as the subject and then I as the object. So for the word of I write the story is written by me. That is the passive voice. Second example, my sister ate my bread. My sister as the subject and then my bread as the object. You can change my bread into as the subject and then my sister into the object. So my bread was eaten by my sister. That is the passive voice. Next, we continue to an example of the explanation text. This example, like the first picture I given to you about tadpoles. So this topics about why tadpoles change. The first sentence of this frog are amphibians, and amphibians spans part of their this we can call of this introduction. Introduction means the opening of the explanation text. So this is still general. And then for this one, the first the female frog lays a lot of eggs, so some will survive from being eaten by fish and other animals and etc. This is about the times sequence. And then for the last, tadpoles may be found in billabongs, lakes, swamps, or even in puddles after heavy rain. It means the concluding statement or the closing of explanation text. And then we try to find out the language feature based on the explanation text. Amphibians, and then tadpoles, and then survive, and then for the word of the child, and then for the word of the lungs, okay, this one, chills, and then the lungs of this one, we can call this is the scientific word or the mind subject. And for the word of the first, and then so, next, as, because, followed by, and when, this is the sequence word. Or we can call this is like the cause and effect. And for the word of lies, and then like grow, and the word of the start based on this like this start of this in this explanation, we can call this is the action verb. Okay, I think just it for the material today. And then I have some tips for you when you try to make explanation text. The first, you can try with begin of the introduce about your topic with a definition or the brief description. And then for the second one, you can explain the important point in order. And the third, sum up or try to make a comment at the end of the explanation text or in the in concluding statement. Or, and then, when you try to make the new paragraph for each point, try to make a new paragraph for each point. And then the last, style, impersonal, second or third person. You can try that this style impersonal. Okay, I think enough for the material today. For your explanation tags, I hope you get it what I explained for you. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.